Holy shit. So I just finished playing the trial version of the Mortuary Assistant, and fucking hell, this game is scary. This game really scared me. A lot. I mean, the setting alone isn't that comforting. Being alone in a mortuary and embalming corpses at night. The setting is already creepy as fuck. But then the devs threw in some creepy monsters and a bunch of jump scares to really scare the living shit out of me. Well, to be honest, it isn't really the setting as such that makes it scary. A lot more could have been done with it. Maybe it has been in the full game, I'm not sure about that. But aside from you having to stare at a corpse for most of this trial version, there isn't really much of an atmosphere when it comes to the mortuary setting. It is a stormy night and you have to wander through 1 or 2 dark corridors, so the game isn't devoid of atmosphere. It's just not in the setting. The horror in this game stems from the monsters you encounter, or the startles you experience. And of course from some of the weird, creepy illusions, or whatever they are. And it wouldn't be inaccurate to call this game a jump scare fest. But it also wouldn't do the game justice. While there are some minor jump scares that seem to appear at random, more or less, and that you don't have any control over, a lot of the scares in this game aren't really jump scares. It's more like something just happening on the edge of your vision or in the background. When the light in the other room flickers or goes off. And a lot of the time, even the appearance of the monsters is done in that way. And to accomplish that this well, the game works in your own camera movement into the horror. So you pick up an item or perform a task, and then you look up and just walk into a different direction, and then a monster is just standing there in the corridor, or peeking out at you behind a corner, or sitting on top of a fucking cabinet. And then it just stands there, staring at you. And a lot of the time you don't even have to engage it. You can just go on with whatever you have been doing, and maybe you trigger the next scene and this particular scare is just gone. I mean, you just traded in that scare for the next one, but well, okay. But these aren't mandatory scares. I mean, the thing just standing there, appearing in front of you is scary enough, but it's not a jump scare. If you engage it, if you step towards it, more often than not, it results in a jump scare. The thing rushes towards you, there's a loud sound, the screen flashes, something like that. And sometimes just observing the creature results in a jump scare. But that's the beauty of it. You never know until it's too late. Because of this, even though there are a lot of startles in this game, the jump scare fatigue doesn't set in too quickly. The most memorable scare for me was just this fucking weirdly smiling creature peeking out behind the cabinet and then just going back behind it. No accompanying sound effect, no flash, no other scare, just this thing looking at me and hiding again. The next time you see it, it's an actual jump scare, but even then, it waits a moment for you to observe it. In between the run-of-the-mill loud sound or creatures running at you, jumping in your face, well, jump scares, there are some really creative scares. And here the game works in the cramped environment, where you have to work in this really small space and have to look for items and interactable objects all around you to force you to look in all directions and observe just crazy shit. or where you are forced to walk backwards when you're rolling a cadaver back to the cold storage. And you do this at the start of the game, and you know you have to do this at the end, when everything gets worse and worse, and the last thing you want to do is walk backwards into a storage for even more cadavers. Here your own mind becomes your worst enemy. The whole working on dead people gameplay, examining them, cutting them open, embalming them, well, it's fine, and at least gameplay-wise it adds to the horror, but I think this part of the gameplay, this process, would have been more effective in a more subtle horror game. Maybe even a game that doesn't feature any monsters, any jump scares throughout the whole game, and only lets you imagine what could happen. Damn, now I want to play that game. But yeah, the gameplay as such was fine. It is more of a item puzzle game. Use the right embalming instrument at the right time, at the right body part. Find the correct items to mix your embalming fluid, and so on. Maybe it has some importance to the story, but I'm not really interested in this story. It appears to be the same stale, you're haunted by psychological trauma, and these demons you see are apparitions of your unresolved trauma. I don't know. I guess while there are some metaphorical elements, there are also actual demons in this game. But yeah, I'm a bit tired of this setup. I guess it has been fresh once upon a time before Five Nights at Freddy's and all the games that wanted to copy this deep lore approach. Well, maybe it is fine. Maybe you like it, but I couldn't give less of a shit about it. The horror though was superb, and I'd love to play more of it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to buy it just to shit my pants and throw it away. I mean, I can't throw it away, it's digital only, but yeah. I like it. I really like this game, but fuck did it scare me. More than I would have thought. So I guess you can see that as a recommendation. It's a bit wonky, but I had a good time. Or a bad time. But yeah, it's good horror. It's really good horror. I like it. And if you're interested in it, go check it out. There's a trial version, so there's nothing to lose. So with that, I guess I bid you adieu. Have a great, horrifying day. And I hope to see you again on the next game.